Let's dive into a lesser-known American mystery, one that's been quietly lurking in the shadows of small-town Ohio for decades, capturing the imagination of locals and cryptid hunters alike. We all know the legends of Bigfoot stomping through the forests of the Pacific Northwest, and Nessie gliding beneath the waters of Loch Ness. But have you ever heard whispers of the Loveland Frogman, a creature whose story is just as strange but far less known outside its home state?
Things you only talk about at the back of the cave.
Imagine this, a mysterious being standing 3 to 4 feet tall with leathery amphibian skin that glistens in the moonlight. It walks upright on 2 legs, its webbed hands and feet leaving odd prints in the mud. Its face is unmistakably frog-like, with bulging eyes and a wide, unsettling mouth. It's the kind of creature you'd expect to find in a fairy tale or maybe a nightmare. But this isn't a monster from a faraway land or a distant jungle. The Loveland Frogman is a legend born right here in the heart of Ohio, specifically in the quiet riverside town of Loveland, just outside Cincinnati. For generations, the Frogman has been the subject of eerie tales, strange encounters, and even official police reports. The first major sighting dates back to the 1950s, when a businessman claimed to see several frog-like creatures under a bridge late at night. Decades later, police officers themselves would report their own run-ins with the bizarre beast. Eyewitnesses range from curious teenagers to seasoned law enforcement officers, all describing a creature so outlandish it defies easy explanation. Some say it carried a strange wand that sparked with electricity, while others recall glowing eyes peering from the darkness. The stories are as varied as they are chilling. So what is the Loveland Frogman? Is it an elaborate prank, a misidentified animal, or something truly unknown, an undiscovered species hiding in plain sight? Theories abound, but answers remain elusive. The Loveland Frogman has become a staple of American folklore, blending the ordinary with the surreal. It's a story that feels both familiar and utterly alien, rooted in the everyday landscapes of small-town America, yet tinged with the supernatural. In Loveland, the legend is woven into the fabric of the community. In a place where everyone knows their neighbors, the tale of the Frogman is passed down from one generation to the next, refusing to fade away. You'll hear it whispered around campfires, debated in local diners, and retold at sleepovers. It's a story that brings people together, sparking curiosity and a sense of wonder about what might be lurking just beyond the edge of the familiar. Sometimes the strangest mysteries aren't found in distant lands. They're right in your own backyard, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to look. So, grab your flashlight and lace up your boots. The night is young, and the riverbanks of Loveland are calling. We're about to wade into the murky waters of this Ohio legend, where every shadow could hide a secret and every ripple might be something watching from below. Join us as we explore the sightings, meet the witnesses, and try to uncover what's really lurking in Loveland. The truth might be stranger than you think. Let's get started. To understand the Frogman, you need to know Loveland, Ohio. Just northeast of Cincinnati, Loveland is a picturesque town with a scenic river and a tight-knit community. It's the last place you'd expect a monster. But every town has secrets. Loveland's is just a bit slimier. The Frogman legend is woven into local life. Sightings happened on familiar roads and near everyday bridges. The Little Miami River, winding through town, is the perfect hiding place for something amphibious. Some say the legend predates the famous sightings, with whispers of river goblins from early settlers and native tribes. The stage was set for something strange to emerge: a quiet town, a winding river, and a history of odd tales. Loveland was ready for a cryptid. The Frogman isn't just a monster, it's part of the town's identity. Even in the most idyllic places, something weird might be waiting just beneath the surface. The legend truly began in May 1955. A businessman was driving a dark, empty road outside Loveland at 3:30 a.m. Suddenly, his headlights caught 3 figures under a bridge. They were 3 to 4 feet tall, humanoid but amphibious, leathery skin, webbed hands, frog-like faces. The figures seemed to be conversing. One noticed the car and raised a metal rod that sparked with blue-white light. Terrified, the man sped away. He didn't call the police. Who would believe him? He told friends and the story became local gossip. For years it was just a strange tale. But this sighting set the template size, appearance, and a hint of intelligence. The Frogman's first appearance was bizarre, unverified, and unforgettable. It was the first piece of a puzzle that would only grow stranger. The legend had its origin story, and Loveland would never be quite the same. The Frogman had arrived. 17 years after the first reported sighting, the mysterious Frogman returned to Loveland, Ohio, this time making its presence known to someone sworn to protect and serve. The encounter would forever change the way the town viewed its most chilling legend. It was the night of March 3, 1972. Officer Ray Shockey, a respected member of the Loveland Police Department, was on his usual patrol along Riverside Drive, a stretch of road that runs parallel to the winding Little Miami River. The air was cold, the riverbanks dusted with frost, and the only sounds were the hum of his cruiser and the distant rush of water. The night was icy and eerily quiet, the kind of silence that makes every small sound seem amplified. Shockey's headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating patches of icy pavement and the skeletal branches of winter trees. As he rounded a sharp bend, something unusual caught his eye. His headlights swept across the road and landed on a crouched figure, motionless in the middle of the lane. For a split second, Shockey thought it might be a stray dog or perhaps a deer, but the shape was all wrong. As he slowed his cruiser and drew closer, the figure became clearer. It was no animal he'd ever seen. Standing 3 to 4 feet tall, the creature had rough, leathery skin that glistened in the headlights, and a face that was unmistakably frog-like. Wide mouth, bulging eyes, and a strange, almost human posture. For a few tense moments, man and monster stared at each other, frozen in place. The air seemed to thicken with fear and disbelief. Shockey's training told him to act, but his instincts screamed caution. He gripped the steering wheel, heart pounding, as the creature's unblinking eyes reflected the light. Suddenly, the creature straightened up, revealing its full, bizarre form. In a flash, it turned and scrambled over the roadside guardrail with surprising agility, vanishing down the embankment toward the river's edge. The only sound was the rustle of brush and the faint splash of water. Shockey, visibly shaken and struggling to process what he just witnessed, immediately radioed for backup. He soon recounted the bizarre encounter to fellow officer Mark Matthews, describing every detail with a mix of awe and fear. The two officers returned to the scene together, flashlights in hand, searching for any sign of the creature. All they found were deep scratch marks gouged into the metal guardrail, physical evidence that something had been there, something powerful enough to leave its mark. The Frogman had vanished into the night, leaving behind only questions and a sense of unease. But this time, the story wasn't just a campfire tale or a rumor whispered among locals. A credible law enforcement officer had witnessed the impossible. News of the encounter spread quickly, making headlines in local newspapers. The legend of the Loveland Frogman was no longer just folklore. It had become a documented mystery, with official police reports and eyewitness testimony. The incident was logged in police records, marked as unexplained. For the first time, the authorities were forced to acknowledge the possibility that something truly strange was lurking near the riverbanks. The legend gained new life overnight. Townsfolk gathered in bars and living rooms, swapping stories and speculating about what Officer Shockey had seen. Some were skeptical, but many believed, after all, who could doubt the word of a police officer? Now the police were involved and the search for answers intensified. Officers patrolled the riverbanks, flashlights sweeping through the underbrush, hoping for another glimpse of the elusive creature. The town buzzed with excitement and fear. The Frogman had left a mark, both literally with the scratches on the guardrail, and figuratively, on the collective imagination of Loveland. The town's secret was out, and nothing would ever be the same. From that night on, the Little Miami River was no longer just a quiet waterway. It was a place of mystery, a source of wonder and fear. And the people of Loveland would never look at the river, or the shadows along its banks, the same way again. 2 weeks after the first chilling encounter, the legend of the Loveland Frogman took another unexpected turn. Once again, the quiet Ohio night was disturbed. This time, the police would find themselves face to face with the unknown. Officer Mark Matthews, a seasoned member of the Loveland police force, was on his usual patrol. He'd heard the rumors swirling after Officer Shockey's report, but skepticism lingered in his mind. Matthews was determined to get to the bottom of the story, convinced that there had to be a logical explanation. As his headlights cut through the thick fog, Matthews noticed a strange shape lying in the middle of the deserted road. At first he assumed it was just another unfortunate animal struck by a passing car, or perhaps some debris blown in by the wind. But as he slowed his cruiser and stepped out, the shape began to move. Matthews watched in disbelief as the creature slowly rose, its silhouette revealing an unnerving humanoid form, something that defied easy explanation. Instinctively, Matthews reached for his weapon, his heart pounding. He didn't want to harm the creature, but fear and adrenaline took over. He fired a warning shot, hoping to scare it away rather than cause injury. The creature reacted instantly, scrambling over the roadside guardrail with surprising agility. In a matter of seconds, it vanished into the darkness, heading toward the cold, rushing waters of the Little Miami River. Matthews, now joined by Officer Shockey, searched the area with flashlights, their beams cutting through the mist. All they found were fresh scratch marks on the pavement and guardrail, evidence that something had been there, but no sign of the creature itself. Years later, Matthews would revisit his story. He claimed that, upon reflection, the creature was nothing more than a large, tailless iguana, perhaps an escaped pet, grown to an unusual size. He insisted that the mystery had a simple, rational explanation, but questions lingered. Was Matthews trying to protect his reputation, or was he pressured to change his account? Was it a genuine change of heart, or an attempt to put the bizarre incident to rest? The truth seemed to slip further away with every retelling. Instead of solving the mystery, Matthews's retraction only deepened it. The riverbanks and foggy roads of Loveland became even more shrouded in legend, as locals whispered about what really happened that night. 2 officers, 2 separate encounters, and a story that refused to fade away. The Loveland Frogman was no longer just a fleeting rumor, it had become a part of the town's identity. A legend that united and divided the community in equal measure. Around campfires and in quiet living rooms, the tale grew. The Frogman was now more than a campfire story. It was a riddle that haunted the town's collective imagination. Was it a hoax, a misidentified animal, or something truly unexplainable? The question lingered, unanswered, like a riddle with no easy solution. The people of Loveland were left to wonder, what really happened on those icy, fog-shrouded roads? What secrets did the night hold, and would they ever truly know the truth? And most haunting of all, what exactly did the officers see that night? A creature of flesh and blood, or the birth of a legend that would never die? After the 1972 police encounters, the Frogman faded into legend. For decades, it was just a spooky story for locals and tourists. But in 2016, the legend resurfaced. 2 teens playing Pokemon Go near Lake Isabella claimed to see a giant frog that stood up and walked on 2 legs. They snapped photos in a short video, which quickly went viral. Skeptics called it a hoax, and the teens later said it was a prank. But the story reignited public fascination. The Frogman was back in the headlines, connecting old tales with a new generation. Rumors and odd sightings still pop up, strange shapes, splashes, and croaks in the night. The Frogman may be elusive, but it's not forgotten. The Loveland Frogman isn't just a legend, it's a local icon. The story has been featured in newspapers, TV segments, and even inspired a musical. Loveland has embraced its monster, turning it into a mascot for the town's quirky side. You'll find Frogman art, souvenirs, and even festivals celebrating the creature. Locals and tourists gather for Frogman-themed events, complete with costumes and merchandise. The legend brings the community together, transforming fear into fun. It's a testament to how folklore can evolve. The Frogman connects Loveland's past and present, giving the town a unique identity. By celebrating the legend, Loveland ensures it will never be forgotten. Sometimes the best monsters are the ones you make your own. So, what is the Loveland Frogman? Some say it's a real, undiscovered creature, a cryptid hiding in Ohio's rivers. Others think it's a case of misidentification, a heron, an iguana, or a startled animal seen in the dark. There's the hoax theory. Maybe it all started as a prank that spiraled into legend. And then there's the wildest idea, the Frogman is something truly out there, an alien or interdimensional visitor, hinted at by the sparking wand in 1955. Each theory has its believers. Maybe it's a mix of all 3, a little truth, a little imagination, and a lot of local color. The mystery endures because no answer fits perfectly. The legend is bigger than any explanation. It's a puzzle that keeps people guessing, and that's what makes it so much fun. The Frogman remains Ohio's greatest roadside riddle. Why does the Loveland Frogman endure? Its absurdity is part of the charm. A bipedal frog is just weird enough to stick in your mind. Multiple witnesses, including police, give the story weight. Officer Matthews' retraction only adds intrigue. The legend connects people to their local history and geography. It reminds us that mystery can be found close to home. The story is simple, strange, and endlessly debatable. You don't need to believe to enjoy it. All you need is a sense of wonder, and maybe a flashlight for your next walk by the river. The Frogman's tale will keep hopping from one generation to the next. We've explored Loveland's legend, met the witnesses, and weighed the theories. The evidence is thin, no body, no clear photo, just stories. But stories are powerful. They reveal our fascination with the unknown. The Frogman is more than a creature. It's a symbol of wonder and curiosity. Whether it's real, a hoax, or a trick of the light, the legend has become part of Ohio's history. It challenges us to keep an open mind and never lose our sense of wonder. So what do you think? Is there a colony of bipedal frogs in Ohio's woods? Was it just a misidentified animal or the best local legend ever told? The only thing that matters is that you keep asking the question.